Is Google AdSense a reasonable way to make money from your content? Well, if you are a creator or someone who's just dived into creating and you have decided that you want to look for a way to monetize your content, AdSense is one of those options. Now, AdSense is a program by Google that helps publishers view ads on their content and earn money from it. So if you have articles on your website or web pages that get lots of traffic of potential buyers, you can have Google Ads give you a code that you'll embed on your website, and ads will automatically be populated to show to the visitors, and then you're paid based on clicks and impressions. Now, there are things that you need to understand. One is that the payments at times varies based on location. Now, a person who has a website or main of some of their main traffic coming from an African country like Kenya or Nigeria will not have the same earnings as a person whose main traffic comes from the United States. And this is usually because of the buying power. Let me give you a simple example. So I'm selling a program that charges $50 a month subscription. And we have two different people who have the same type of content talking about this same product or service that I'm selling. One is located in the United Kingdom and the other is located in, let's say, in Uganda or Kenya. So the possibility of a person in Uganda and Kenya buying this is much slimmer compared to the one in the US because of the difference in currencies. To the US person, investing $50 in this and getting the service or the product might appear much more reasonable because in their currency that is not much. But when you come to a country like Uganda or Kenya, they convert that into their local currency and it appears like a huge amount. So that is why the person whose main traffic comes from the US and is likely to earn more, sometimes even 10 times compared to the person whose traffic comes from a country like maybe an East African country, for instance. Another thing is niche. Now, niche is basically just a category. So different niches pull in or bring in different types of clients or different values in terms of products or services. So if you compare a niche like tech, let's say you do tech content, and somebody who is promoting things like motivational or service based, you are selling say something like booklets with certain maybe life guidance and stuff. So just pick motivation as a niche on its own. So this person who is in the tech industry is likely to promote high value or high value products or services compared to a person in a different niche. So you find that this niche are going to be ranked based on the value of the product or the service offered. So if you're doing, let's say, content in tech, in gaming, or in digital marketing, your RPM, which stands for rate per mile or rate per thousand views, is going to be higher than somebody who is doing a different niche. So before you start creating, it is important that you understand the type of niche that you want to maybe cover, and at times you may go based on your interest. In that case, it will still work if you're doing it from passion. Let's say you like writing about relationships, but you just understand that the rate of payout will not be the same as someone who does tech reviews, for example. And another thing that you need to understand before putting your content on AdSense is that Google does have some sort of like a number of articles that you need to have. So it varies. It's not a fixed number, but quality usually matters. So if you have generic content, you may have 100 articles, but when you apply for this monetization or for Google AdSense monetization, you get rejected for low value content. But you find that somebody who has 15 but high value content is likely to get approved for the monetization. So try as much as you can to ensure that you offer value and that the content that you create is original content ranks much better and is likely to give you that quicker monetization or acceptance into the AdSense program. So there is the tendency of people, using mostly AI generated content today, which is not bad. You can generate content with AI and then rewrite it in your own language. Just make sure that you're giving value to your clients. So you make sure that you don't just have bulky or a lot of content that are of low quality. With that, you are not going to get any monetization, and you're probably, at times, you can even be blocked from applying again. Another thing you need to understand is that before you get monetized, you need to create a certain number of content, and then you need to apply and be verified before you can show ads on your platform. So it's not just creating content, going to AdSense and copying a code and having it on your site. No, the Google has to review your content, and then it will send you an invite or an acceptance or a confirmation that you've been accepted, and then you can get the instructions on how to embed these ads on your website. Once this happens, there are two more things that you need to understand. You should not put too many ads on your web pages, because this pushes potential clients away. You don't want to make your website look like it is only made for ads. You need to create content with an intention of solving problems, so that Google also gets to solve client problems before they sell the ads that is displayed on your content. When it comes to the payout, it varies based on location, but from what I've seen, usually you need at least 70 euros before you are paid out. So you are going to have to set up a payment system. You're going to have to verify this. Usually it used to happen like using like physical mail, where you send a mail is sent with a code to your mail address. I believe they introduced one that goes via email to make it easier. So before, what you had to do is you had to apply for the verification. Once you've applied for Google AdSense, you're accepted, you're showing ads on your website. Before you get that payment, you are sent a mail with the code which you're supposed to enter into your account and verify it. But I believe as now things have changed a little bit, and you can do that through email. So you will need to apply. You'll need to figure out whether it is via physical mail or via email, and then you're going to verify that account, and then you can add a payment provider to your account. You can either use direct bank transfer if that works for you, or if you prefer third party, you can use things like PayPal to receive your payment. But usually the most recommended one is usually direct bank, so you don't have to deal with a lot of things in here. There is usually like tax deductions. Now this also depends on your country location. So if you have received a payment, you've reached the 70 euros threshold, you might not receive the full amount, because depending on your country's tax laws, you are probably going to have part of it reduced and used as withheld as tax before you are paid. So if you want to have AdSense or ads on your website, make sure that you have quality content. I usually advise people to have at least 40 to 50 articles that are of high quality, addressing a specific problem, and not just generated content using AI. And you should also make sure that you have like an address in case the verification still goes through physical mail. And maybe you should also think about having a bank account or a payment system ready. Now, one thing that I almost forgot is that if you are in a country with a much low RPM, that is rate per 1,000 views, it might take longer for you to get to that payment threshold if your traffic is low. So you'll need massive traffic before you get to the point where you have enough visitors that view and click on the ads on your website and give you some earning or something of that sort. So just make sure that if you are in a low, maybe a low earning region, you need to really work on a high value content that will drive in a lot of people viewing and clicking on the ads. For some other regions with high earnings, you just make sure that you have high quality content also, and it will be much easier for you to earn. So that's it. If you want to create AdSense, if you have any questions, you can drop them. You can like this, you can share it, you can subscribe for more e-commerce and digital marketing tips at Ecom Talk.